What's your Tyler's back with Retro Reviews here on Title's Retro Reviews with our second Survivor Series review in the 2005 edition. Which, I don't get the whole tagline of the beginning of the end, really. I mean, it was, look who's coming back around here. Hint, hint. But anyways. November 27th was a Raw and SmackDown event at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Now, the main story of this is SmackDown versus Raw. The first go around at Survivor Series. They won't do this again until 11 years later. And that whole thing ran its course by then. So they did this whole SmackDown exhibition thing on Raw Homecoming. But Bischoff came out and turned the lights out, and then near the end of it, Teddy Long said, "You made us look like fools," and all that, and they were coming to Taboo Tuesday, which, this is something I had to point out. That was one of the, what am I trying to say? Christian was gone by after Taboo Tuesday. His contract was up by then, and he went on to go to TNA on the 20th anniversary of this, of this date. And you know, I'm just gonna tell him about this right now. This is also the date that this man passed away. 20 years later, we still can't believe that happened. And that is Eddie Guerrero's passing that caused shipping this whole SmackDown team. I mean, Eddie won a qualifying match to get added to Team SmackDown, and he would unfortunately pass away after this, 2 days after that SmackDown match. And that was also, like I said, the same November 13th that Christian came to TNA and had a great career there. But we're not going to talk about him. Go do your thing. But, man, like, Eddie was on the best run of his career, like I said. You know, he had that whole thing of, the Dom thing with Ray. That was, at least it was a good ladder match at SummerSlam and the Great American Bash match, which hates the fucking pay-per-view. But yeah, I know it was a sad day on this day of November 13th. But regardless of that, also this has nothing to do with the build to Survivor Series, but it was a month ago that storyline wise, Jim Ross got fired because of it. This has nothing to do with Survivor Series and all that. I mean, if I ever do Taboo Tuesday 2005, God help me, I don't want to go back to that dumpster fire of a pay-per-view. He got fired. Jim Ross got fired by the McMahon family, and Joey Styles was taking his spot on the Raw commentary booth. And I'm gonna say this right now. It's the 3-man booth by way of Joey Styles, Jonathan Coachman, and Jerry Lawler. And I'm gonna say this right now, and I know a lot of people are probably gonna agree with me, but Joey Styles and Jerry Lawler do not have chemistry as a commentating duo. But again, it's better than Don Callis with Joey Styles with ECW and all that. And the coach, well, he fucking sucks as a commentator. Case closed. Well, at least, we still have Michael Cole and Taz on SmackDown. That's, there's that. But regardless of that, and also 3 out of these matches are Raw versus SmackDown matches, or SmackDown versus Raw matches, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, this is not really much about brand warfare. One like later Survivor Series and then bragging rights, although that wasn't much of a brand warfare show either. But it's about later Survivor Series from 2016 to 2021. Again, I'm glad they got rid of the stupid brand warfare thing for Survivor Series, because that run is fucking coarse. And we got War Games instead, which Again, unpopular opinion, but I honestly think it's better than that than do brand warfare. But let's talk about Survivor Series 7-5. We gotta get to the fucking point of this period 20 years later. Although it's not on the anniversary of it, it's like, what, 2 weeks before that? Let's talk about Survivor Series 7-5 finally. I've been dilly-dallying, but let's get on to it. The first match is a best of 7 series for the vacated United States Championship. Now, Booker T and Chris Benoit were having this feud for the U.S. title. Booker, I believe, won the U.S. title before then. They had to do the rematch here, and the title was up for grabs in this best of 7 series, so they had to rekindle the matches they had in WCW, and Booker T defeats Chris Benoit to win this one, win match 1 of the best of 7 series. And yeah, anytime these two lock up, it's always good, no matter what. Whether it be in WCW or here in WWE, they always have really good chemistry together. This whole best of 7 series, by the way, got snake bit because Booker got injured, and Randy Orton was his substitute, Booker T's substitute, to win the U.S. title. So Randy Orton won a title that he was not a part of. So, reality is, should Randy Orton be a 2-time U.S. champion that he officially won in 2018 or something like that? Well, more than when I do my Ruthless Aggression Road to WrestleMania reviews. That's, WrestleMania 21, 22, and 23. So I do Rumble 5, 6, and 7 in January. And then I'll do the 3 No Way Outs also. But regardless of that. Still, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Not their best work, but yeah, they still have some. I like this whole match still. Anyways, next up is the first of the 3 SmackDown vs. Raw matches. The first one is for the Women's Championship. Trish Stratus defeats Melina to retain the Women's Championship. It was 6 minutes. It was a decent women's title match, but this was the. What am I trying to say? This was the first of the tease of the Mickie James Trish feud that led up to WrestleMania 22. We'll talk about that when I do WrestleMania 22 and some point in the road to WrestleMania. That's next. Well, yeah. Yeah, this was a decent match still. I give it a 6 out of 10, so there's that. Then the best match on this. Oh, by the way, speaking of Booker T, I forgot to talk about this. Vince was backstage with Bischoff, and then later Cena interrupts Bischoff, and then Vince says the N-word to John Cena. Booker T with his tell me he did not just say that word, which you will not find that whole thing on Peacock, by the way. I have the DVD of it, so that's fine. I was like, what in the fuck was wrong with this man, by the way? Where was I? Oh, yeah. We get the last man standing match. Triple H defeats Ric Flair. Surprisingly, this was Triple H's first victory at a Survivor Series. 95, he lost. 96, he lost. 97, 98, he was not on the card, as well as 2001, so they don't count. 99, he lost. 2000, it was mostly just a brawl with him and Stone Cold Steve Austin, where Triple H died in storyline. Well, he didn't. No, technically Steve Austin won via fatality, but no, it was a no contest. 2002, he lost. 2003, he lost. 2004, he lost. So yeah, this was his first victory at Survivor Series. Yeah, Triple H doesn't have the best record in Survivor Series history. So, anyways, Triple H came back on Raw Homecoming after losing to Batista 3 straight pay-per-views in a row on the Raw side. And, he turned on Ric Flair on that Raw Homecoming show, and this started the feud. They had the best match at Taboo Tuesday. Again, that show sucked. That pay-per-view sucked. Because of the card on there. And also, by the way, Ric Flair is the Intercontinental Champion, but the belt doesn't mean anything. So, we get this crazy ass fucking match. Ric Flair bled like hell, and yeah, it was the best match on this fucking pay-per-view, and yeah, this was like I said, a great fucking main event, a great fucking last man standing match. Triple H won via hitting it with the sledgehammer, and does that like putting the horse out, something like that. 8 point. I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, a 9 out of 10 for that. Anyways, next up is for the WWE Championship with Daivari serving as the special guest referee. John Cena defeats Kurt Angle to retain the WWE Championship. Like I said before, with Booker and Benoit having some great chemistry, John Cena and Kurt Angle also have some really great chemistry together. Like I said, this I'm filming this before Cena's retirement a month from now. And he's also the current Intercontinental Championship. What world are we living in, by the way? Yeah, you could tell that the special referee stipulation for the heel side is always a fucking cliche, but still. Kurt Angle, there was a ref bump with Daivari getting hit. Then out comes, I believe it was Chad Patton. Yeah, Chad Patton comes out, and then Kurt Angle clotheslines him. And then there goes Mickey J, and he gets uppercut as well. Then there goes another referee, and there's one SmackDown referee, Charles Robinson, by the way, who comes out and I was like, wait a minute, did Tay Long try to sabotage this match as before his? But not really though. Cena DDT Daivari, and then Cena wins with the FU, and there's that. This is, a 8 out of 10 match. It was a good match. But this whole thing kind of reminds me of Angle's match with Austin at SummerSlam in 2001, where Austin beat up some refs, and then the babyface was going to win, but then it ended in a disqualification. But that didn't happen here, though. But yeah. And then we get the second SmackDown vs. Raw match. Tay Long defeats Eric Bischoff. It's the battle of the general managers. What the fuck do you think this is going to be? This is kind of reminiscent of Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler from WrestleMania 27. As in, it sucked. If, they have 2 referees in this match. Shouldn't that be for the main event? Spoiler alert. But why this match? Yeah, Jack Doe and Jimmy Cordero is doing this. I'm like, couldn't there be one referee for this one? Then the Boogeyman comes out. This was the beginning of him, and he helped Tay Long win, so SmackDown got the victory here. 0. It was a god-awful match. And then finally we get the main event, the only traditional Survivor Series match on this show. 5-on-5, that is. Team SmackDown, Batista, the World Heavyweight Champion, by the way. Bobby Lashley, JBL, Randy Orton, who replaced Eddie Guerrero, by the way. And Rey Mysterio defeats Team Raw of Big Show, Carlito, Chris Masters, Kane, and Shawn Michaels. Like I said before on the Raw Homecoming show, Bischoff did not want the SmackDown match to happen, and then, it's like I said before, for Taboo Tuesday and all that, and this led to the Survivor Series match here. If the rumor was true if they were going to do Eddie versus Shawn here, that would have been a big match for WrestleMania 22, but instead Shawn Michaels had to be given to Vince McMahon instead. And we don't know the God storyline, which I'm not going into that. But yeah. So yeah, and like I said for the last match, they had 2 referees. Shouldn't they have the 2 referees in this match instead? You have Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick doing this instead. Nitpicking, I know, but Shouldn't they done that here instead of the last one? Like, who's the asshole who did that? Really? But anyways, the order of elimination is Bobby Lashley was the first one eliminated by Shawn Michaels, and then Kane was eliminated by Batista, and then Batista was the next one eliminated by Big Show. Batista was dealing with some injuries in this match. I don't know if it was legit or not. I think it was legit. I don't know, because he would not be around. Well, he was at Armageddon, but yeah. And then everyone gains up on the Randy Orton, JBL, and Rey Mysterio gained up on the Big Show, and Big Show was the next one eliminated by Rey Mysterio. Carlito was the next one eliminated by JBL, and then Chris Masters was eliminated by Rey Mysterio. And it came down to the three SmackDown wrestlers, Rey, Orton, and JBL versus Shawn Michaels. Michaels eliminated Rey Mysterio, and then JBL was eliminated by Shawn Michaels. And it came down to Randy Orton and Shawn Michaels, just like in the 2003 Team Austin versus Team Bischoff one, but nowhere near as great as that one. I'm just being honest with you. JBL tries to hit HBK with a chair. HBK reversed it. Randy Orton RKO's him, and Randy Orton was the third time in a row being the sole survivor. And then, although it was a decent Survivor Series elimination match, but decent is all I have to say, really. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. That's a little low for me, but yeah, and again, I don't like brand warfare matches because their faces and heels had to team up, and that's a nitpick of mine because I don't like that idea. Then the other, the Velocity crew, SmackDown's B show, come out to celebrate with Randy Orton, and then there's a gong, and then there was a casket. The Druids brought out the casket, and Randy Orton had that shocked look on his face, and yes, it was The Undertaker coming out of the casket that was on fire, and The Undertaker beat up most of the Velocity crew. Yeah. That set up the Hell in a Cell match at the following month at Armageddon, which I already talked about Armageddon 2005 on here, and also my main channel also, but still. But yeah. This pay-per-view, it got snake bit. Really snake bit because of Eddie Guerrero's passing 2 weeks prior to this pay-per-view. But yeah. It was better than 2004, but I don't think it was great as 2003 in my opinion, but still. I give it a 6.8 out of 10, mostly for the last man standing match. But there's that. Staying with Survivor Series, we're going 8 years later to 2013. Yay. But that's next week, so I'll do my SmackDown review tomorrow. There'll be another late-breaking news with Patrick. Another late-breaking news with Patrick, really? Well, this is leaning towards, that elimination match between Team Heyman versus Team Bischoff at my version of Survivor Series. So, that is on Saturday also. And Sunday, I don't know what I'm going to do on Sunday. Sundays are not my time now. Whatever. So, yeah. So, those are me on my main channel, by the way. The SmackDown review and then on the breaking news with Patrick. But those are me on there. Subscribe to the notification on my main channel. So, like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, and you'll see next week's Survivor Series review week 2013, and we're almost there. And the week after will be 2015. So there. Bye-bye.